Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/PettyRevenge. In today's episode, Happy Valentine's Day to my husband. My ex cheated with a married woman, so I turned a pic of them into an ad. Discriminate against my neighbors? Enjoy extra attention. My girlfriend made a move on the boyfriend I had just broken up with. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Happy Valentine's Day to my husband. I sent myself a diamond bracelet, a bouquet of flowers, and an apology note from him. I FaceTimed him because I knew his girlfriend would be with him and told him thank you for the bracelet, roses, and apology note. Before he could say anything, I said, "You have to be serious and call it quits with your girlfriend before we can even discuss getting back together. We'll talk in a few days." I hung up. It might not have done anything, but I'm kinda hoping it'll ruin their day. I don't want him anymore, but I'm still holding a grudge at him and her doing this to me behind my back when I was going through chemo. I hope I at least caused an argument or some trust issues for today. My ex cheated with a married woman, so I turned a pic of them into an ad. My ex, let's call him Joe, and I had been together about 5 years or so, and it got rough after I had to deal with cervical cancer followed by COVID and complications. I tried to get us into counseling, but I was the only one who went. The counselor kept suggesting we talk and do things together. He'd go and do these things with this co-worker couple. Eventually, he started just hanging out with the wife, Karen, not the husband, Patrick, and it didn't take long for me to catch on that there was cheating, so I left and moved out. I worked at a gym, and Joe and Karen would go work out together regularly. I snapped a picture of them while they were there showing a little PDA. When people sign up at our gym, they sign a waiver stating that we can snap pics of them on the gym floor for our social media platforms. So, I posted it, shared it for Valentine's Day for our couple's special, and made it an ad to run locally. Well, Patrick saw the ad. He showed up at my Joe's house, raising hell, dumping Karen's stuff out of the back of his truck into Joe's lawn and telling him that he could keep her. So, now Joe is panicking because his boss is angry that the whole situation is happening and they're losing 2 staff members. His boss also happens to be his landlord. On top of that, Joe didn't want to be in a relationship, much less live with anyone, so he made Karen get her stuff and try to find a place to stay. Joe texted me and asked if I would let her stay in my spare bedroom. He never realized that I'd put the ad up, and of course, I just left him on read. I don't know exactly what happened after that, except that Karen moved back in with Patrick again for a bit, then to Joe's house, and apparently brought her 20-year-old daughter with her to his house to live with them. Discriminate against my neighbors? Enjoy extra attention. So my background is in public service, working directly for elected officials. As such, I have a lot of friends and contacts at the various levels of government I have worked in and worked with. The rental community we live in used to be decent, but 2 to 3 years ago a very well-known individual with family in real estate purchased our community. Following that, services have steadily declined. Repairs and maintenance have been slower, hours cut, etc. The same company even had to settle a lawsuit with the state for predatory behavior in another county. Well, after finally getting fed up with this place, my wife and I decided to move. While talking to some of our longtime neighbors about our upcoming move, some information came to my attention. Namely that while our service requests have all been processed relatively quickly, theirs have often taken months. And while our rent renewal was about a $100 increase, theirs was going up $300, even though they have perfect credit, decent income, and have been there longer. I was already aware of another black neighbor having a large rent increase and was surprised when ours was less. And my neighbor went on to tell me that the reason one of our other black neighbors moved was that they were quoted a $700 per month rent increase. Odd. None of my white neighbors have been quoted huge increases. But all of my black neighbors I have talked to have been for comparable or worse units. Would be a shame if someone living here knew the state senator who chairs the committee in charge of landlord-tenant issues and was friends with the chair and vice chair's chiefs of staff. Wonder what would happen if I dropped them all a line. As well as county officials and folks in the AG's office. Not sure what will happen next, but even money says it won't be good for this rental company. My girlfriend made a move on the boyfriend I had just broken up with. This story takes place back in the 80s. I met my first boyfriend at 14. We moved in together when I turned 18, and 6 months later I realized I wasn't really in love with him anymore. He was my first and he was an okay guy, but I felt I was too young. A week after I move out, I call him one night to see how he was doing and to organize so I can come and pick up a few things. I hear talking in the background. I asked who it was and he said it was my best friend at the time, F18. He said they were now together. So here is my petty revenge. A few days later I called him to say that I regretted breaking up with him and asked if he wanted to take me back. He said yes, so he broke it off with her. She called me mad and crying. Then I proceeded to break up with him again, but this time for good. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.